Hey everyone, it's Tom Lamog, Guitars for Vets. I'm an instructor with the Cyber chapter, and welcome to the review of Module 5 for the Introduction to Acoustic Guitar. It's our final session, the fourth session, the final session for this ITAG series. And today we've got a host. I've got a panel of instructors to join us to teach some of the things that are left. And we have an open discussion, an open dialogue on what to do now that we're at the end of the series itself. What happens next, kind of a thing. Maybe what we could do is field one or two questions right now before we get into it. So if you have one, say something. And if you don't, then go ahead and hold off until we enable the chat session. Okay. Well, it's awfully quiet.
Well, you know what? Awesome. It's been great. It's been fun. I hope that these lessons have helped a lot of people, and encourages them to keep playing. You're gonna get some wins under your belt, and that's gonna encourage you to go even further. Once you get one or two wins in there, you're gonna be thinking, "Wow, this is awesome. This is great. This is helping me cope with whatever it is that you need to cope with," and it's fun. It's fun. So you guys keep pushing forward. And if you have any questions along the way, by all means, reach out on Kevard, send us a message, and we'll be more than happy to help with whatever we can. If we can't help you with it, we'll reach out to Tom, Paul. These are big hitters, and they'll be more than happy to help us out through this journey.
Yeah, and all of the instructors are here. Bruce, Dave, Joel, soon it'll be you, I believe. We're all accessible through CavArts. So yeah, don't be shy about it. We want to help you along, continue on the journey with you. So here's what we're going to do. We'll go ahead and mute you all right now. And what I'm going to also do is kind of review some of the things that we went through, that we've all gone through in these first 3 hour-long sessions that we've had. Just again, to reiterate, these are the important things that you need to remember. Pick up your guitar. And I got to tell you, I'm so guilty of being accused of not being in tune by my bandmates. And I know I want to save the embarrassment. So really the first thing you should do when you pick up your guitar is tune it, right? So tune your guitar. It's just good practice. Get into the practice of grabbing the tuner, grabbing the app. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're in tune, all right? And keep checking, because strings have been known to get out of tune, particularly if they're new or if they're really old, because you want to sound the best that you can. The next thing is, of course, you have to name the strings, and I'm sure by now you figured that out, right? E, A, D, G, B, E. And whatever acronym you're using or phrase that you use is fine. Personally, now that we've got an app for that, and everyone carries a phone, right? Pick that phone up and look that app up and try and memorize it from there. It's pretty convenient if you're able to do that. And then, of course, you want to make sure posture-wise, you want to have enough room just to be able to move around. If you're going to be tapping your foot, if you're going to be strumming, if you're going to be wanting to get really into guitar playing, you want to be loose in the shoulders. You don't want to feel tense. So you want to have enough room to move around. All right. So now let me again show you the where to find the materials that we're going to be using for this session. So let me go back to sharing my screen here. And again, we're at the Guitars for Vets Learning Center. And if you go to the events page and you click on the event and you scroll down into the comments section, you'll see that I've posted the information here, and you can click on it and open it. And this is the document that I'll be leading the discussion on. And you're welcome to take a copy of it as well. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing. If you'd like to go ahead and follow along, make a copy of that for yourself. And I'll go ahead and let's start with the slide in this session, what we're going to cover. And we've got a lot of material to cover, and it's a good thing that you brought your guitar and that you're all tuned up. So we're going to talk about the strumming. All this time we've talked about fretting. We've talked about how to form chords, how to do scales, focusing primarily on your fretting hand. Now we're going to focus a little bit more on the strumming hand. And, what's the right way of strumming? Are you using your entire arm? Are you moving your elbow? Are you using just your wrist and your fingers? Are you strumming with a pick? And you know how to hold a pick. Are you using your fingers? That's also an option too. Not everyone uses a pick. People prefer to use their fingers, and that's cool too. It's very personal to you. However you want to approach playing guitar, it really is up to you. Personally, for me, I use both. I started off finger style. I had a bluegrass instructor who was very adamant about it. We will not use a pick in this class in college. And then over time, as I started to play with others, they couldn't hear me. So I ended up having to use the pick and start to learn the various techniques. We're going to be talking about quarter notes and eighth notes and the significance of both types of notes and the timing and how that affects the strumming. We're going to talk about the golden rule of strumming. And the golden rule is basically on the downbeat, you're going to be basically counting 1, 2, 3, 4. The upbeat, it's going to be an and. The and will usually be on the upbeat. So that's the golden strum. And we'll get into it a little bit deeper. Talking about, again, having enough room to stretch out and tap your feet, move your shoulders, foot stomping, how that really helps keep time and really get you into feeling the music through your body instead of just, being stiff and just making the motions, and it may translate into your playing as well too. So you want to kind of keep loose and keep the beat and all. And then the strum patterns and the diagrams. We'll answer your questions at the end, and also at the very end, we're going to again have a panel discussion with the instructors here on some of the things that you might want to do after ITAG is finished, and that's going to be after today. So with that said, I would like to introduce you to one of the Guitars for Vets instructors, and Dave Jordan is, let me go ahead. I'm going to add you as a spotlight.
Yeah,
Dave, are you muted? Hey, I know Dave has been making appearances over the last 2 or 3 sessions, and this time we're deciding to give him the reins for the next few slides to take you through some strumming and some of the discussion about quarter notes and timing and such. Dave, it's all yours, man.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Pennsylvania. I'm really honored to be teaching here today. Everyone probably knows about holding the pick. And when you're strumming, you really want to be, I might just see my guitar here. You're kind of, the arm motion is very critical. You want to be going over the sound hole. You don't want to really be down here. Not at first. When you want to experiment later, you'll do that. The other important thing is your pick angle is so important. I've had some students have trouble with this. They're kind of going up and down, holding the pick in the same position. And you're used to doing downstrokes with the pick at that 45-degree angle. You're really strumming over the strings. But when you go to your upstroke, you're really just touching those bottom 3 strings is probably enough. You hit the 4th string, that's great. But you're kind of in slow motion. You're going down at a 45-degree angle. You don't want to come back up. You got to kind of make a quick pivot and have a 45-degree angle going the other way. It's kind of natural once you start flowing with it. But sometimes your pick will catch on those strings if you're not turning it just right. So kind of go slow at first, get that nice smooth action. That being said, I want to talk just a minute. Remember, today's all about your right hand. Your left hand, that we always talk about doing all these crazy chords and stuff. Let's not even worry about what chord we're doing. In fact, for strumming patterns, if you want to, just hold your hand over the 6 strings so they don't make a sound. And practice the strumming pattern. If you want to use a chord, one of your favorite chords like the E chord or something easy, you can do that. But for today, it's all about your right hand and just getting the right pick angle, the right motion with your wrist and your elbow. So that being said, could you keep the screen back on, Tom? We're showing the counting part. There we go. Okay. Um, Most music is 4 beats per measure. If you're not familiar with music, what the hell does that mean? Everything's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost every song you listen to is that. And the first beat's always called the downbeat. Usually a little more emphasis. So all of our strumming patterns are going to really work off that 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's something called the and. It's between each beat. Okay, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Usually the and is the upstroke, the down. The one, like the number one is the downstroke. This is real basic. If you were just playing this, it would be a very straightforward 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basic, but okay, boring. We're going to make it a lot more interesting than that. If you scroll down to the next one, they start showing. Yep. Okay, and then this is, like I said, if you're counting. By the way, 4 beats to measure. That's what I call quarter notes because 1/4 of the 1, 2, 3, 4. The eighth notes cuts it in half. An eighth note would be when you're doing every up and down stroke, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you did 8 strokes in a measure, 8 strokes in 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That explains eighth notes. Scroll down a little more, Tom. I think we're and golden rule of strumming case down on the downbeat. That's easy to remember. Up on the upbeat. And I don't think there's a picture like usually when you're tapping your foot's going down on the downbeat. Oh, there it is. Thanks. Can't get much more graphic than this. Down on the downbeat, your foot's up on the upbeat. So when you're doing that alone, just keep your foot tapping right on the beat. You can't go wrong. Okay, let's jump ahead to the next one. I think there's a cool. Right now, when you show these strumming patterns, you see those grayed out ones on the end of 1 and 2. So, and this is the pattern actually I'd like to start with. It's a nice, real simple one we can do together. And what's going on here is pretty basic. You're going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Do the chord 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so why don't everybody's got a guitar in their hands, right? Let's do this together a few times. It'd be pretty good start. If this seems like kind of starting slow to you, don't worry, it'll get complicated real fast. So it's a nice slow beat. I'll count it out. Let's just do it together. And if you want to just do the flat strings, that's fine. If you want to just pick any chord, any favorite chord of yours, I'm going to use the G chord myself, but pick whichever one you want. And we just start with that 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Everybody get the hang of that? I assume you do. It's not too complicated yet. So what's going on here gets a little funky because you see the second beat is grayed out, the fourth beat is grayed out. Okay, so those two, and when something's grayed out, you kind of want to keep your arm doing that up and down motion, regardless of if you're touching the strings or not. So I just like this is down, up. See how my arm's going to constantly keep motioning, whether I'm touching the strings or not. Or if there's any questions on this, you can say, but it's pretty. I mean, maybe you should keep me up there. But it's going down to down, up, and the second beat you just kind of pass the strings, and then it's like end of 2. So it's down, up, well, up, down, up, up, down, up, down. And it gets to be a little more musical now, as you'll see. I'm just playing the same chord, but if it sounds like. We'll try it together. If you're adept at changing chords and you want to change on each one, I'm just doing like a real simple C to A minor change, or just do whichever you're comfortable with.
Hey, Dave, why don't you go ahead and play the strings because your audio will help them follow.
Sure.
Oh, that darn audio compression. it's
Are you hearing my guitar, or is it?
no, but we see you strumming. We don't hear the audio itself because of
There
Zoom.
must be some kind of funky.
It's that feature in Zoom. The compression will go ahead and treat it as background
Trust
noise.
me, it sounds really good, guys. I'll take my word for it. Yeah,
turn
you
up
can see what
turn your
I'm.
amp up to 11, my friend.
I think I had that. I should use anyway. I have a different setup in the basement. I should use that. I didn't kind of think of that, but maybe you can demonstrate time. Yeah, sorry about that. We should.
Yeah. Okay, so
My
it'll
arm
be
going up and down regardless. So, but I'll see
okay.
that pattern.
Okay, we'll try this Joni Mitchell strum. So it'll be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And if you count this, it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and.
That's it. That's it. Let's try, and I think the next one down gets a little, even a little funkier than that. And the challenge also after that is, I think on that, can you bring that up again? At the very bottom of the module, there's a link to another bunch of documents, which are really nicely, kind of lay out what I've been talking about. And at the end, it says here, make up your own, which is nice.
Let me know. You want? Let's see here. Are you looking at something on your screen?
Hold on. Let me just see. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. This one we already did. Yeah, the Beatles one we did. Go down a little further, Tom. I think there's another.
I think that's the last strum.
Okay. Yeah, that was Joni Mitchell. There was a link on the one to the like the 5 strumming patterns module. It's one of the links that Paul has out on the website. Is it on this? I saw.
Let's see. So are you wanting to go back to the
Yeah, the module from the CavArt site.
Sure.
Yeah, go to that one.
So let's see. Let me go back here, and you're going into module 5.
Yeah.
So right now on the CavArt site.
And yeah, it's at the bottom of this, if I'm right. Yeah, go to strum patterns, and that it's inside that.
Sure.
The strum. Scroll down to the bottom. There's a link to that. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. Keep rolling. These are really great videos, by the way. Tony and that guy, and there's a Marty Schwartz video linked coming up too. They're great follow-ups for anyone having any questions on this. That's one we did, and then the next one. Keep rolling. That's about the feet. Okay. This 5-step. Go. See what it says, like the word success. Just kind of click on that. Bring up this module is really, really nice, where he lays out everything in great detail. Go down. Yeah, he kind of follows what we were just talking about, like what's in the other one. He goes through the different patterns and such, and yeah, about using your foot. That's the one we did that pattern. Down, down, up, down, up. Actually, yeah, that's what he meant. Make copies of that page and make up your own patterns, which is nice. And also, you mentioned about using a metronome, and you're all familiar with that. We'll good video. There's tons of good videos out there. There's a lot. Everything you need is pretty much right in there. What we put on the CavArt site, but it's really good if you take the metronome, set it at like 60, which is basically 1 beat per second, and just try to keep right with the beat on that. It's great training because you think you're doing a good job. It's kind of really hard. Even if you think you're good, same with the metronome. It's frustrating because it's right on the exact timing. Practice with that. Don't drive yourself nuts. Try that, and I think it's very, very helpful. And do it as you get better. Do it with state root chords. Do it, change chord every measure, every 2 beats, every 1 beat when you get better at it. Make it faster, make it slower. All those fun things you can do. But most of all, And here's the other point. My student this week was having a little trouble with the pick angle. I said, practice playing like as softly as you can. Obviously, it's soft because you can't hear me, but just barely skimming the strings, make it real smooth, be very consistent. That'll help your strumming as well. That's basically what I have to cover today. I mean, I really encourage you to just keep at it and try different patterns, try different beats, different speeds, mix your chords in. That's really where the fun is. And then as you listen to songs, you'll kind of start listening to hear the strumming pattern, like a typical Eagles song or nice country type songs. They always have a nice steady pattern that they follow. So
Dave, yeah, great. I mean, these are all things that you can find in the resource that's actually within the modules themselves, and you're going to find a number of reference guides, videos, and they're all so well done. So we're kind of just skimming through the information, knowing that you'll hopefully go back and do a deeper dive on the information. But let's talk a little bit about strumming, because again, this is really the first time that we're making use of the strumming hand while also fretting. So all the focus was on that fretting hand, making sure it's clean chord changes, and you put down your finger right behind the fret wire and making sure everything is clean. And now you've got this other hand that you've got to start coordinating things with. When you first started learning how to do strum patterns, really, what was the biggest challenge? What was the biggest challenge that you found in terms of doing the strumming themselves?
I think for me, it was just keeping a steady beat, because after you play it a couple of times and then it's easy to get mixed up, and then you realize the beat. Where did the beat go? Just staying consistent with it. I think I struggle with that a little bit.
Did you learn eighth notes immediately? The eighth note strumming up, down, or did you start simple with just downstrokes and quarter notes?
Put it this way, I tried.
Mm-hmm.
So when you play something, you want to play it faster, and you got to back up and get it clean, and then move forward to playing a little faster. Yeah, I was trying to do like ding 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 ding, and I had a friend teach me that was really good, and he wasn't very patient. He'd be like, "Here, do this." Like I can't. It wasn't like Tom. He wasn't a good teacher, by the way. I was struggling to keep up. Yeah, just trying to push myself too much is probably much.
That's for guitar players that are just starting out right now, and just this is kind of new to them. Yeah, that fretting hand, sure, those chords sure sound clean, but boy, if you're out of time, you control that obviously with your strumming hand. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to take us back. Dave, thank you very much for taking us through that lesson. What I'm going to do right now is I'll go ahead, let me remove this pin. And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and refer us back to the down strumming of the quarter notes, because again, let's just kind of step you all through what that really means. When we say timing and such. Let me go ahead and I'll share that screen again. So we'll step through this one more time here. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're using your foot, as Dave was showing you a little earlier, the downbeat is going to be the number 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and do down strums on this one, and let's try and keep the beat, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I feel kind of funny, Sit still, Tom. But I can't, because I'm playing and I'm keeping beat with my foot. And a lot of musicians do that. You'll see them, maybe you'll see them live and they're on stage and they're not standing still. Some of them are just getting into the music. This is how it begins, with those quarter notes. And then, Dave stepped us through the counting the eighth notes. It's the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's do this. Every time we go down, we're counting with a number. Every time we come up, it's going to be an and. And here, we're just going to do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so why don't you join me on this one? Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 quarter notes and eighth notes. That's what those are. So the golden rule of strumming, obviously, I just mentioned it to you, and it's every time you count a number, you're going with a downbeat. Every time you come up, it's an and. And that's really, if you get quizzed on that one, I've never been asked that before, but in case you are, now you know the golden rule of strumming. And foot stomping and feeling the rhythm. If it's not your foot, maybe you're swaying, maybe you're kind of like doing that thing. And then the strum or not to strum. When you read chord charts, you may see something that looks like this. Something is grayed out, which means you're not playing it. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you're still making that motion, just like Dave showed us. You're making the motion up and down, but you're not strumming when that arrow is grayed out. Let's see what else here. We've got on the next slide. Oh, strum pattern. This is the audience participation. This is where everyone's going to go ahead and pick up if you haven't had the opportunity to do that. So strum pattern 1, this is going to be up, down, up, down, up, down, all the way through using eighth notes. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. All right, so the next strum pattern. R.I.P. Mr. David Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. This one is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Another popular strumming pattern that's used in popular music for sure. Let's see. The next one, I know that Dave stepped us through. Let's give it another whirl, though. This time, now that you've got an idea how that works, let's try it once more. So this is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's almost like I want to, it's kind of almost like a reggae beat. Right, that's popular. Left a good job in the. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the next slide here, the strum pattern. Let's see. So this one is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 4 very popular strumming patterns are what we just kind of introduced you to. There are many more. And, even Dave had shown us in that reference guide that you'll find on Module 5, how to create your own. I guess one way to really do a deeper dive on this on your own, some of the songs you want to learn to play may follow one of these patterns. But when it comes to creating your own, or maybe finding something else, that pattern that you see on your handout, where the red and the blue arrows, may be arranged in a different way with a totally different strumming pattern that may not be that popular. And you maybe you're a songwriter, you want to write a song and use something that is totally different. That's how you do it. So again, these are all just kind of an introduction to some of the more popular strumming patterns. And using a metronome, just as David mentioned, is a great idea. It's a great way to keep time, practice keeping time, and build your muscle memory in keeping keeping time with the metronome. If you decide you want to go ahead and jam with others, you're going to be listening to those that are keeping beat. Maybe it's the drummer or percussionist, or maybe it's the bass player. But again, that metronome kind of gets you in the right mindset, building the muscle memory with the strumming patterns. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's it for strumming. And let's see here. Hang on one second. I see a question. Hey, Baldemar, go for it, man. What's your question? Hold on. Why don't you go ahead and unmute?
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. And now I just made mention, I don't know if I must have missed it there, but I didn't see one of the popular strumming patterns there, the down, down, up, up, down, up.
It could be.
That's a real popular pattern that we teach in a Guitars for Red program.
Do it again. Can you demonstrate that for us?
Absolutely. And again, if you have a metronome or anything that you can follow with, it's a very, very popular pattern that goes like this: down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And it's easy.
Makes me want to sing Proud Mary.
Right. It's easy, and there's a lot of songs that go to that pattern.
There are so many popular songs out there using a lot of these strumming patterns. But here's a tip. Thanks, Baldemar. Here's a tip. What you should do is take a listen to these songs that maybe you want to learn, and see if you can hear the strumming pattern, and see if maybe you'll want to try and practice against those strumming patterns within that song. It's good practice. You don't have to invent this or reinvent this. You can just go ahead and utilize the songs that are out there right now that caught your ear and learn from them. So with that said, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. Are there any questions? If so, go ahead and throw them in there. What I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to go ahead and move to the next page, the next steps on your guitar journey. And, I know that in the module material itself, and let me see if I could bring up the information for you to we'll go ahead and refer to that real quick. So I'm going to go into the Cav Arts Learning Center, going back to Module 5, the information, and then here, 5.2, next steps for your guitar journey. First of all, I can't reiterate this enough. The materials that you are going to find within the modules themselves are filled with really informative information. You have to read it on your own. So let's see here. If you take a look at what's listed within Facebook itself, if you select this link, it will take you to a list of the Facebook pages. Now, you may be familiar with Guitars for Vets lessons, the guitar lessons page that Mike Kelly is administering. And maybe you've taken in a few of his song demonstrations. And why not go ahead and plug him right now? Because on February 18th at 3 p.m. Pacific, Mike will be in the Guitars for Vets Learning Center giving us a lesson on Cinnamon Girl in alternate tuning. So if you are free on the 18th of February at 3 p.m. Pacific, join Mike Kelly for that. But he is actually the administrator for that Facebook group. So definitely check that out if you're interested in taking in more song lessons. This is create a local musical community, reaching out to family and friends. This is definitely going to be a topic. In fact, why don't I do this as we go through some of these? What I will do is bring I'm going to bring some of the other instructors online here with me. Bruce, why don't you go ahead and unmute? And let's see. Paul Demar, I'm going to unmute you as well. Let's see here. Dave, are you there? Dave, did you take off? There you are. Come back here. Oh, sorry, Darren. Hi, Darren. How are you? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. let me move you back out of there. Dan, did you want to speak up? No, let's say it's good to see you, Dan. But anyways, hey, Bruce, why don't you tell us a little bit about, what goes on? What's next for these individuals?
Embellishments, basically hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides. It's just a way to add another, a little bit more flavor to your song. So you take a simple song like Amazing Grace. So that's just your basic melody. Now, if I incorporate hammer-ons and slides, it kind of spices it up. So there's an example. I probably played that too fast, but a hammer-on, you hit the string, and then you use your left hand to get the next note. A pull-off is the reverse. You put your finger on a fret, pick it, and then pull off. Slide, you simply, so you can slide up, you can slide down, you can slide up, you can slide down. The use of slides and hammer-ons and pull-offs. I mean, I started playing bluegrass primarily in the '60s. And there's this favorite thing called the G run. I don't think you've ever heard a song that didn't have a bluegrass song that didn't have the G run in it. So I'll do it slowly. So there's a hammer-on, a slide, a hammer-on, and a pull-off. And when bluegrass is very, very fast, I mean, and that's one of the reasons you use this kind of technique so that you can. But that's hammer-on. The other thing, I think that it's used a lot in. I mean, I also play in a blues band. In fact, I'm playing this afternoon in a blues jam. It's a lot easier on my electric guitar than an acoustic guitar, but it's the use of bends. I mean, those are a couple examples. Can't think of anything else. I mean, maybe another embellishment that you use with your right hand is when you're playing a song and then you want to kill the sustain. I hadn't thought about that, but or song Horse with No Name. That whole song is the right hand. The left hand is only two chords, but what drives it is the right hand. So I'm doing, you know, I'm really driving that song with my palm. So that, I mean, that kind of falls into the same category as strum patterns. Any questions?
Yeah, there was that palm muting thing too, right? That's what you were demonstrating, is palm muting, which sometimes you don't want that sustain.
Yeah, I mean, palm muting. I mean, I play pedal steel, and the pedal steel has an incredible amount of sustain. I mean, the notes just go on and on and on. And so, one of the hardest things that I had to teach myself with the pedal steel was the palm blocking and pick blocking on the steel, so that I get clean notes as opposed to have them all jammed together and sustaining. But it's the same thing with the guitar. I mean, it just adds more expression to the songs, and but yeah, I mean,
It changes things up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like maybe another topic. And hey, Dave, I'm gonna put you on the spot by adding you to this conversation.
Mhm.
Playing chords different parts of the neck. I mean, maybe you're past that open chord thing and you want to go up the neck. And I know the cage system is something that people have talked about. I'd like to learn that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you? Can you talk a little bit about maybe moving up the neck and playing different chords and how you might learn something like that?
I like I always try to introduce my students to, even if they're new, at bar chords are just so great, and it took me a long time to get it down. But boy, there's that a ton of versatility to your playing. And if you watch anyone playing typically in a bar or somewhere, they might be using a cable, but you'll see the hand just kind of listen. You'll see the hand kind of moving here and here and here, and not really maybe moving their fingers a little, but they're really just playing these bar chords. And I don't know if you can hear me anymore, but like the here, and without moving the thing with your fingers, you go up to frets. There's your A chord, there's your B, and you got your F sharp or your F. And by just lifting out your middle finger, but don't flip it at anyone, it turns your major chord into a minor chord. The F major, F minor, G major, G minor. I mean, that just made it. It just added a ton of ability to you. And this shape is really easy. It's called the A shape because you're only playing the middle four strings. There's a C there, there's a B here. Sorry, B's here, B flat's there, D is here. I mean, they take some time. Anyone will tell you that learned it, but they're really well worth the time you invest. And there's a ton of good videos out there that break it down, give you good tips. Tony Policastro's got a bunch of them. If you just Google bar chords on YouTube, you'll get about 100 different good instructors. I'm partial. I like Tony and Marty Schwartz a lot and a few others, but that really was a breakthrough for me. The cage system I've kind of studied. I'm not too terribly familiar with it myself. It's basically using like the C shape, different shapes in different parts of the neck to do things, and you incorporate that with your capo. It also is another thing that's versatility. Does anybody know what a capo is? Maybe we even talked about that. Why is it useful? I mean, you can explain.
Yeah. Well, piggybacking on what you're talking about with the cage system itself, if you start with the C form and you create, you keep that C form to make the different chords. So if I want to do like the C form for a D, this is a D shape using the C form, and it takes a lot of fingers. You could actually place the capo at the lowest fret and then make that C shape. That's one thing that you can use the capo for, just one of many things. But the cage shape, yeah, will definitely, I'm certain that's going to be something you'll want to look into farther in your guitar journey. But hey, Bruce had a comment. What you got, Bruce?
Well, I used to be able to play. I can't play bar chords anymore because I have arthritis in my hand. And I think it's helpful for beginners because bar chords are difficult. But you can take the shape of a chord, like let's say an E, and you can go up to E, F, G, and just play the strings that are being fretted. You don't have to do the whole bar chord thing. You take that D shape. So there's a D, here's an E, here's an F, here's a G, here's an A minor. And I do that all the time. Because, like I said, unfortunately my thumb is really screwed up. Another thing with the capo, when you play it, when you use a capo, you're basically going to a different key. And there are some songs that lend themselves better to one key versus another. So you think about a song. It doesn't sound right. Now they actually played it capoed on the 7th fret, but I find it. But if I were to capo that on the 5th fret,
Oh, you're letting out all the secrets,
all the secrets. Right. Here's another one. This is an exercise that I do with my students. It's a right hand exercise. This is another use of the capo, where I'm just playing kind of the basic pattern for that song, "Walking in Memphis" by Mark Cohen, John Cohen, Mark Cohen.
Marco. Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful piano song. Now, if I capo that on the 3rd fret, it kind of, to me, it matches the piano sound more. Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded a plane. Touchdown in the land of blues in the middle of the falling rain. To me, it matches more of the piano sound. All right, my last comment on using the capo: if you're playing with another person and they're playing something, I mean, just strum a G, just do a G pattern. So Tom's playing a G in the open position. I'm playing a D up here, with the capo on the 5th fret. It's still a G, but you're getting these high notes, and it's nice if you're accompanying somebody else to get a bigger sound.
Yeah, exactly. I know that in my experiences with playing with musicians, and you play the same chord patterns, it's kind of like, oh man, It sounds all right. But when you start to expand the sound by playing chords up the neck, and it actually adds something really nice to, you know, the lead player, for instance. So, hey, listen, thank you, Bruce. Darren asked a question, could we learn triads? Now, Baltimore, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So a chord is made up of 3 tones, right? 3 tones. And that would be the tonic, the root, right? And then what are the other 2?
The 3.
The 3rd and the 5th, right? So the question is, and this is, Darren, I'm glad you brought this up because I think it's essential that, you know, when we do play chords, that you have to at least hit those 3 notes, and at the very least hit 3 strings, right? So for the A, and you're hitting the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, that's your A chord. You're hitting the 1st, 3rd, and the 5th, right? And if you know you're doing your bar chord that you know Dave was showing us, go up to the 4th fret with 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string with your bar on the 2nd fret, and that's your B chord. But there are triads all over the neck, and I think that, you know, by learning the strings, you identify the 1st, 3rd, and the 5th. And what's also cool too is that when you learn the 3rd, first of all, you can get away playing power chords. We didn't even touch on power chords. Well, 1 and 5, and the 3rd determines whether it's a major or a minor. So that's part of the triad idea as well too. So, of course, and I won't get into that, but Darren brought up a good point. Could we learn triads? That's definitely essential, and it's the next step in your guitar learning. Definitely look into that, Bruce.
All right, just a quickie. When you think about that, and you think about your scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 1, the 3, and the 5. Now, if I take that 3 and I flat it, now so this is a G. If I flat that 3rd, now I've got a G minor.
That's it. Hey, listen, we are on the last couple of minutes. I want to give Baltimore a moment here too. This is a gentleman who just joined us as an instructor. We put him through the paces, and we certainly, you know, put him through the ringer a few times as well too. But I am appreciative, Baltimore, for you jumping on board. Do you have any closing thoughts? Because we're coming up on the end of the hour here. Any thoughts before we sign off here?
Absolutely, Tom, and thank you. So what's next on the guitar journey? So if you're using these 5 videos that Tom created to build your callus stage, well then, you know, keep getting encouraged and enroll in the G4 Vets program. We'll take you in, and then we'll go a little bit more into detail, a little bit more into the theory of music. We'll learn triads. We'll learn scales. We'll get a little bit deeper into if you want to learn a song, particularly to you. And keep practicing. That's going to get you to improve. Don't forget the basics. Always go back to the basics and keep adding to that tool belt of yours. You know, go back to the basics. Get it all right. That way it rings correctly. So keep motivated, and you're gonna get that guitar to where you want it to be.
Thanks, Baltimore.
And I like to add, I mean, if you guys have any questions, you can contact us through, you know, Cab Arts, and we'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Bruce. Dave, any final thoughts?
Just wondering, are you thinking of putting together like a next level course like this of 5 modules in your spare time?
You know what? Funny you should ask. Actually, I have shared a proposal to Paul, who's had a chance to take a look at it. And if you go back to the Learning Center itself and you take a look at the survey about what's the next step of your guitar journey, is it more chords and strumming patterns, scales? Is it embellishments like what Bruce has gone through? Is it working at playing guitar and singing at the same time? Which I have to commend Joel Grant, who actually went through the paces. He was kind of my guinea pig in this module that I'm getting ready together for the next module set. And attending a jam playing guitar at a guitar jam. Can you imagine going into a group of individuals not knowing if you're prepared or not? Those are all things that we're putting together in the next series, Introduction to Acoustic Guitar Jam. And we're looking tentatively of implementing something like that in April. But there are a couple of things that we have to work out before we get to getting that module finalized. But you'll be hearing more about that. So yes, the answer is yes, David. I can tell you right now, all three of you plus Mr. Grant will be involved with that. So anyway, listen, we are a minute over the hour. Let me just first of all thank you all for joining us through all 4 of these sessions for ITAG. I hope you got something out of it. And we look forward to crossing paths again. Keep us posted on any questions that you have. And let us know, if you've learned any, anything you want to share, post it. Several of you have already recorded yourselves and posted online. We'd love to know what your progress is. All right. There's also, again, go back to those modules and definitely make copies of everything that's out there because they'll really help you along. All right. So anyway, with that said, for Guitars for Vets and for Cav Arts, it was a real pleasure taking you on this part of your journey, and we look forward to seeing you next time. All right. Thank you all. Take care and have a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you.